Hello, friends, and welcome back to Julie's the Author. I am here today with a new video. Let's jump right into it. First things first, excuse any construction noise. There is actively construction and houses being built. I'm staring at men right now out my window. But I had an idea for a video and I really wanted to film it today. So we're just going to jump right in. This is a different filming setup because I am in StreamYard. But after I moved into my new house, I got a whole bunch of bookshelves. So I have 4 full Billy and then 2 like half Billies on either side. It has all my classics and my childhood favorites, and then all of my books. And then over here is like literally craft books and my books. So I will do a shelf tour at some point, but I was curious now that I had more shelf space, which once I got all my books out, I didn't actually have, whether or not I would regret my unhauls. I had for a very long time 1 bookshelf. And then after that, I went to 2 bookshelves. And then I had books underneath my bed. I had books in my closet. I finally have all of my books out, and I had way more than I thought I did. When I originally moved in, I had somewhere around 647 books. And at one point, only had the 2 shelves, and they were double stacked, and triple stacked, and side stacked. I really now at this point have them all out. I really thought I was going to have all these empty shelves, and I don't. But I am curious because I did a lot of my de-stressing through unhauls, and I also had very, very limited shelf space. So I was kind of forced to do unhauls more regularly than I might have otherwise. I don't think I've ever regretted any of my unhauls, and I do think that that's one of the reasons that people don't unhaul is they think they're going to later on wish they had the book still. So I'm curious, going back to look at my unhauls, whether or not I regret any of my choices to unhaul books. I have not gone back and watched any of these videos, and I have a lot of them. I went through my channel the other night and looked at them, and I have 16 unhaul videos. So I know that there's a revisiting my book haul kind of a trend on BookTube, or there was forever ago. I was curious to look at my unhauls. I do sell books on Pango, and that is active again. So I use that credit to just purchase books. And I'm curious if I would want to repurchase any of the things that I unhauled. We're going to watch them together and react and respond and see what this looks like because I genuinely just don't know. And this is my first ever book unhaul, December 19th, 2016. Hi, everybody. It is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today, I have for you one of the first videos, although I am planning on filming more, that might ruffle some feathers. So today, I have my very first unhaul. It is time to get rid of some, and unfortunately, I had to be kind of brutal in my cuts. It's my first ever true purging of books. Before you ask, no, I'm not going to be sending any of these out. I have a friend that's coming from out of town who's super, super bookish. She's going to... What were those eyebrows? That's when I was still doing a full face of makeup, like full foundation. And you can see behind me, I had those... It was 4 shelves, and then the bottom 2 were actually drawers. So I only had what you see behind me for books. That was everything. And they very quickly filled up because most of my first videos were actually haul videos. So, I'm gonna look through, see if there's anything in here that she wants. After that, whatever's left over is gonna go to a secondhand bookstore. I'm going to sell them back to the secondhand bookstore for credit. And then I'm going to get more books to review for you guys. So it's win, win, win. That is my plan. I'm not sending these away to anybody. However, if you are looking for books and you want me to send you some books, then be sure to enter my giveaway. Everything will be linked down below, and I'll link my giveaway video right up there. It is my 2,000 subscriber giveaway. Thank you so much for subscribing. So just know that if I am unhauling one of your favorite books, not every book is for every reader. And some of these I did like I said, but I just don't think I'm going to reread. So I need to go ahead and purge. And I'm just not a big rereader. So a lot of this just has to go. I think. Who was that person? I literally reread all the time. Also, the justifying of my actions is ridiculous. I would never anymore. This might ruffle feathers. Unhauls happen all the time now. think when I counted earlier, I had 28 books that I'm unhauling. So let's jump into it and I'll show you what I am getting rid of. First up is the Book of Ember, and this is by Jean Duprow. I
10 out of 10 don't regret that one.
Never read this. This is The City of Ember, The People of Sparks, and The Prophet of Yonwood. A Borders exclusive. It's a 3-volume, 3-book bind up. I just know I'm never going to pick this up. Then I have Love at First Click, The Ultimate Guide to Online Dating by Laurie Davis. And I've never read this one either. I got sent this when I was running an online magazine for women and when I was doing my own website of dating and relationship advice. So I ran into somebody who authored this and they said,
I absolutely don't remember that at all. And both of these so far have been books I never read.
But I'm never going to read that. Then I'm unhauling Find You in the Dark by A. Meredith Walters. I will link my review to this up there. I did not enjoy this. When I did my makeup book tag, I put this as one of my most like cringeworthy books just because the romance in this was all, I just hated this. Then I'm getting rid of Mrs. Moneypenny. This is career advice for ambitious women.
Okay. First of all, Find You in the Dark. It would now probably be one of the least problematic or dark romances I have read. But at the time, I was just not a dark romance reader. And now it's very much a popular genre or popular trope in romances. Probably would not have bothered me anymore, but I don't regret that. Also, whatever this is, 10 out of 10, I don't regret this. I made good life choices.
Women, and I had this when I was a female entrepreneur and I had a business to run and I thought this would be helpful. I ended up really not getting much from that. Same with The Girl's Guide to Being a Boss Without Being a Bitch, which, first of all, can we all discuss the fact that this title is just, I mean, whatever. Caitlin Friedman and Kimberly Yorio, I don't know. And then I'm getting rid of Ashes on the Water by Mary Lindsay.
Okay, so 10 out of 10, don't regret the self-helpy, businessy books. Again, yes, I had a business to run at one point, but I did not anymore. And even as somebody who is an author and has to market themselves, don't regret getting rid of those. This, Ashes on the Water, I might tell you where it came from, but I don't regret getting rid of that.
It was about a girl on an island who I don't think could get off of the island. And then there were skin shifters, shapeshifters. Nope. This is another one that I never read, guys. I went through like a phase where I was like, I'm going to better myself. I'm going to read all these books. They're going to be life-changing. This is May Cause Miracles by Gabrielle Bernstein. And I'm never going to read it.
I'm cracking up. No, I was never going to read that. I don't know who I thought I was when I thought I would.
The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I read it once. Once you read something like this once, you don't really need to read.
Not to mention the fact that I loathe that book. Unreliable narrator because she drinks, because woman. I didn't like it.
Read it, and I didn't really like it. Unreliable narrators and all that. Same with these two guys. And this is bad because I'm unhauling these books before I've even done my series wrap up. This was in my wrap up for November. This was in my wrap up for October. I'm reading maybe the third one. I did get it from the library and
spoiler alert, I don't think I do. I was not a fan of those books. I know that they were all the rage back then. I'm not sorry about these.
I felt bad that they shipped it to me and that I wasn't going to read it. So I may finish out the trilogy, but regardless, I'll never reread these. I don't want them in my life. I don't like them. I'm getting rid of them. Also getting rid of 13 Reasons Why. This is by Jay Asher.
Oof, I did read this when it was all the rage back then. Unsurprisingly, wasn't a fan. So I don't regret this.
I don't know. I know a lot of people really like this book. I was not in the right mindset to read this, and I know that I'm not going to reread it because it's just going to take me back to that time and place. I'm not going to keep this one around. I'm also getting rid of Stay Awake. This is by Dan Chown. I don't know how to say this name. I could not.
Even then, I had to like strangely pronounce or try to pronounce names. It's a ridiculous quirk of mine.
Stay awake long enough to read this. is what you can't stay awake for. Dazzling short stories, and they were haunting, suspenseful stories, lost, fragile, searching characters that wander between ordinary life and a psychological shadowland. So it was about grief and loss and loneliness and disconnection and displacement and finding themselves in the unexpected and sometimes unfathomable situations that they found themselves in.
It was just bad. I didn't have to read all of that just to know it was bad.
I picked it up with such high hopes and I could not get through this. So I'm getting rid of it. I don't very often start and not finish a book, but I couldn't handle that one. This one I know is going to my friend when she gets into town, and this is How to Be a Woman by Caitlin Moran. Listen, I was running a magazine for women, by women, trying to empower women. I am all about female empowerment. This was like the Chelsea Handler of feminism. It was a comical tale about being a young girl, going through puberty, going into adulthood, but it was not necessarily what I would call a feminist tale. It wasn't necessarily empowering, so I will pass that one along. I'm also getting rid of A Shadow.
Okay. So I don't mind passing on How to Be a Woman. I read it. It was what it was, but I very rarely connect with nonfiction in a way that's meaningful enough for me to keep them outside of craft books. Shadow Bright and Burning, do not regret. I did read the first one and then knew I was never going to continue with the series. And is it me, or has Jessica put her foot in her mouth since then? I feel like she probably has.
Bright and Burning by Jessica Cluess. And this one I did review. I didn't love it. I thought it had a lot of potential and that it just really fell flat for me. So I know that there's other books in this series. I don't think I'm going to be continuing with the series. If I do, I'll probably get them from the library. It's not going to be one that I want to keep on my shelves. So unfortunately, it's a gorgeous cover. I paid full price for this at Barnes & Noble, but I'm going to get rid of this. Also going to get rid of this little pocket edition book of Remade. This should come as no surprise to you, but I'm getting rid of this garbage. I'm sorry if this is your favorite book. I know it's a lot of people's favorite book. I go into why I don't like.
I'm sorry, but this cracks me up because genuinely I think that you either love or hate this book. I don't really think that there's an in between. I don't know that I've talked to anybody who's just like meh on it, but I have a deep-seated hatred for the book. And it was part content, part pacing, but mostly formatting. It is formatted so atrociously, and I can't forgive it. I'm sure I'll talk about it in this video because I don't think my thoughts have changed, but oh my gosh.
This in my wrap up, it angers me to see it. Like when a book makes you angry, it shouldn't make you angry. I can't handle it. Same goes for this piece of yuck. This is Soundless by Michelle.
I called it a piece of yuck. It's not a great book. It's not. I think that was probably my first Outcrate book that I ever got, or close to. And I actually just like privated all of my Outcrate unboxing videos because I was like, they're not valid anymore to me or to my viewers, I don't think.
Michelle Mead, and it is horrible. Nope. I'm also getting rid of First Life. This is by Jenna Showalter. This is about a world where you have two different options for your afterlife, and your first life is just a trial run so that you can decide where you want to go in your second life, which is where you'll spend the rest of eternity. And there's a girl who's supposed to tip the balance, and she has to decide between which afterlife she wants to choose, and she refuses to choose. And the whole time she's shoved into these horrible situations and being tortured, and she refuses to choose. And it's awful. I'm also getting rid of Been There, Done That by Carol.
I don't regret a single one of these so far. Afterlife, I told you exactly what the synopsis was, and I didn't continue. And I was not a fan. I don't know what I'm going to say about this particular book, but I can promise you I don't regret it. I don't recognize the cover or the author. No regrets.
Carol Snow. I am also getting rid of Wicket.
And I don't really need them back. I didn't love them. They were a little too YA and a little too on the nose for like their time period. I don't think they would have grown with me. I'm not going to repurchase them.
Witch and Curse by Nancy Holder and Debbie Vicue. I won't continue the series. It didn't grip me enough. Amanda and Nicole are sisters. Holly comes. They realize they're witches. They've got to try to like fight against this evil. I believe the evil is in like a guy who's dating their aunt, or it's weird. And it just didn't grip me enough to continue, but I did read it, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm also getting rid of The Edge of Never by J.A. Redmarsky. This was in my November wrap up as well. This is a new adult contemporary, and I just didn't like it enough to keep it. I'm never going to reread it. It wasn't horrible. If you want to read it, go ahead. I think I gave it 3 stars or 2 stars, but it's not going to be something that I ever reread.
Yeah, I don't regret that. It was fine. It was perfectly fine, but I'm not upset to not have it.
Same goes for this gorgeous piece of cover that I'm so upset about, which was The Great Hunt by Wendy Higgins. The cover is so much better than the book, you guys. It's just not great. So,
oof, I was brutal, but I stand by it.
Not going to reread it, getting rid of it. Same for this. This is Cecilia Ahern's Flawed. The concept is not bad. Everybody is apparently perfect, and you get branded if you do something wrong. So if you lie, you get your tongue branded. If you steal, you get your hand branded. So she can't be flawed. I can't be flawed. I'm perfect. Guess what? She's flawed. I believe this is a series as well, or there's more coming out or have come out.
I would like you to just try to pay attention to my fingernails and how purple they are, because I've clearly just had my hair dyed and then tried to wash it. And I, for years, could only wear purple and mauve or black nail polish because my fingernails would be constantly dyed purple. But I don't regret that. I don't regret that unhaul at all.
Also getting rid of Hollow City. I don't know where my original Miss Peregrine's book is. I finished the trilogy. The 3rd book I listened to on audiobook from the library, and I don't think I'm ever going to own it. I don't dislike this trilogy, but I don't love it. I never got like crazy, ridiculously on board with this series. I don't think I'll ever reread it. The next one is one that
I'm not going to ever reread it, and I regret nothing about unhauling that. Nothing against it necessarily, just it's not for me.
I actually did enjoy. It literally destroyed me. It stuck with me, but I feel like I've read it and I've been there and I've done that, and I don't think I'm going to ever have to reread it. So this is one that I will hopefully give to a friend if they want it. Forbidden by Tamitha Suzuma. At the heart of it, it's about a family of children.
Stop it. Stop it. I didn't know what I was about to hold up, but I was not expecting that. Yes, it was giving Flowers in the Attic. I don't think it deserved that intro. I don't regret not having that.
Very, very absent mother. The children have to raise themselves. The older siblings, a boy and a girl, end up really filling the role of mother and father, and they fall in love and they start a relationship, and the book kind of goes from there. And it's heartbreaking. And then the last 2 books are the last 2 books of a series. I kept the first 3, guys. I said it before. I think I mentioned I just don't like the way that this ended. So I'm getting rid of The Crown and I'm getting rid of The Heir. So The Heir first and then The Crown. The first 3 books follow America.
Oh my goodness. That was all the books. I'm not going to play the outro. I don't think the outro was anything worth playing, but I don't regret that. And I have since long ago, I'm sure we'll cover that in another one of these. I have since definitely unhauled the first 3 books. It was a time. They had a time and place on BookTube, on people's shelves, in people's reading TBRs. Do not regret getting rid of those 2. And I don't regret getting rid of the first 3. But I did for a while keep the first 3 and just pretend that's where the series ended because I didn't like the last 2. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I don't think that's like an unpopular opinion. I think that's a pretty well-held opinion. I made good life choices in that video. I don't regret a single one of them. And it's interesting to see what I was bringing in and sending back out again. I do think I'm going to go and record the reaction to the next one right now so that I have a couple of these to go up. Hopefully this is something that you find interesting. I'm interested to see what I think. I'm just making content that I want right now. So hopefully you want it as well. But that's been this one, reacting to my very first unhaul. And I made great choices. I love that for me. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below if you would have kept any of these. No judgment. Everybody loves what they love. And I will see all of you in the next video. Bye, friends.